Team Fortress 2 has a lot of weird, empty servers. I don't want to waste any time, so let's get right into this. It was 1 a.m. and I was just kind of mindlessly scrolling through the server browser, looking for cool stuff. A server, simply named Null, caught my attention, which had no tags, 0 players, and was running a map called BX70. I logged in and was met with this. An empty platform surrounded by complete darkness with a single pillar of light in the center and a massive camera in full view, just out of reach. I had no clue what was going on here, and it got even freakier once the warm-up ended and this message was sent out to me. Your media is being recorded. Please view it later. I looked around for a bit to see if this was maybe the start of something bigger, even swapping to spectator mode so I could just no-clip around the map, but didn't manage to find anything else. While I was looking, I also noticed that I wasn't alone, as there was a spectator in here named BX70, despite the server saying no one else was here. I tried reaching them in chat, but didn't get a response. It was maybe just a bot? I don't know. I was getting some sick-as-hell angles of the map in spectator view when suddenly the server entirely shut down. Including being completely wiped from the server browser. Not a single trace of it remained. Everything here added up to me feeling like I was in one of those TF2 ARGs with like evil servers and shadow men and stuff, which unironically not as a bit. I might have been. Now, if this is an ARG, get ready for some 3-hour-long videos on it. Being realistic here, this is probably just a test map or something, but like, come on. It'd be way cooler if it was something more than that. I found this one after the last video, and already discussed it in a bonus video, but this is too good to not bring up again. I saw a map running named PL Ideas, which I'd never heard of before, on a server named Bob is Zach's server. It said there were 0 players, 14 bots, and I figured, why not check this out? Once I got in, and it just seemed to be a normal looking payload map but with dev textured walls everywhere, I pretty quickly lost interest and was just gonna dip out. But I noticed that 2 people were in here, including Bob is Zach himself. After a bit of killing, they told me it was a map they were actively developing and wanted my opinions on it. So I played a round of it with them. How often do you get this opportunity? Partway through the match, they even asked if I wanted to hop on call with them, which I sort of stranger dangered my way out of. I kind of regret that because it might have been funny, but at the same time, don't go adding random strangers on Discord. I was also way too busy going absolutely buck nutty in game, just styling on these bots. My team finished the round absolutely crushing the other guys, and I gave my professional feedback. When this is added to TF2, I better be credited as a co-creator, or I'm gonna go ape. I saw a strange-looking server running a map named Norilsk Nickel in the browser. It had 1 person in it, and I am positive it was of Russian origin. Pretty much every file it downloaded had a slur attached to it, so that's something. Also just a bunch of really weird-sounding shit. Once I was in, I was kind of confused because it just seemed to be a small block of apartments with a few shops next to them. Nothing crazy or outlandish or anything, at least from what I could tell. Granted, there seemed to be a lot of Russian references to shit I have pretty much no way of knowing. So, for all I know, this could be heinous, vile, infamous shit, or like Russian YouTubers or something. I don't know. At the very least, the map was pretty atmospheric outside. I liked the look of it. The buildings all had interiors, so I went to check some of them out. This psychiatric hospital had a bunch of traumatized-looking TF2 mercs inside, but I couldn't get farther than the lobby. Next up, I went to touch Nico one-shot in the back of a liquor store, which sent me straight to jail. The apartment buildings also had a bunch of fully decorated rooms, which were not what I was expecting with the file names the server downloaded. Like, there was a furry room where I was fully expecting some kind of devious trick like, haha, you idiot, you touched a furry, you freak. It was just, I don't know, it's kind of normal, I guess. There was no twist. Oh god. This is, now get me out of this one. Jesus Christ. What the hell is wrong with them? Holy shit. That's fucking sick. I didn't have much else to look at in this one, so I left. Later on, I saw it had around 8 people on, so I don't know what the deal is with it. It was called Facty13, and sorting the server browser alphabetically, I guess Facty13 has a bunch of servers like this. I looked into a few of these, and they're all pretty similar to Norilsk Nickel, being small city areas with Russian memes in them. Just more the same, really. With that said, I could only join like 3 of them, so maybe the others have bigger differences. I really doubt it. I did manage to have a conversation with a Russian player who joined one of these through the use of my phone's translator app. This says, "Hello? Where are you? Skibbity toilet. What?" That's about all I have to say on these, though. I'm clearly missing most of the context, culture, and obviously the language to be able to properly go over them. Even on Russian YouTube, I found a full 10-minute video describing what the hell these servers are. So they are as confused as I am. If you want more video content about video games and related topics, you should go to the link patreon.com/redline and assess what is there. Yes, I think you should. I really don't know why there are 2 different Walmart-themed maps running 24/7 in TF2. This one said it had 2 people in it, but I guess they'd already finished getting groceries by the time I got in, as they were nowhere to be found. There wasn't much in the main area surrounding the Walmart. A few stores, empty buildings, and a strange structure in the middle of the parking lot. I found the entrance to said strange structure, and inside of it, I ended up making my way into the secret underground tunnels beneath Walmart. This was seriously a really cool addition. For any non-North American viewers, these are actually like a real thing that pretty much every Walmart has. I exited the tunnel into a sports bar, whacking the nearest jukebox to play some tunes. This place was pretty cool looking. I'd get some grub here. Exiting the bar, I realized that it was inside of the Walmart. Again, for any non-NA viewers, pretty much every Walmart actually has a big sports bar inside. It's a really cool thing. I wanted to save the actual Walmart for last, so I backed out into the parking lot and went into the library of best memes. As I was looking around, a mysterious individual joined the server. Hello, Mr. Crimson. And he's fucking gone. He's gone. This one definitely seemed to be substantially bigger and more elaborate than the last Walmart map I played, except in regards to the Walmart itself, which was real bare bones. I don't even have anything to say. Come on, just look at this. It's carpeted, for fuck's sake. I went back through the tunnels and found a working train, which takes you to a whole other area with a big waterfall and some nice looking buildings. For literally no reason, one of these buildings just has a giant Cold War bunker inside of it, including a full-size nuclear missile silo. I have no idea why it's here, but it's pretty cool. I felt like I was definitely missing some stuff, so I quickly hopped into a private server so I could no-clip around. First off was a better look around the actual Walmart, and right off the bat, a good half of the building was dedicated to a Walmart prison. Again, for any non-NA viewers, pretty much every Walmart actually has a big prison inside. I found another freaky ARG map just one day after finding BX70. I swear to fucking God, I didn't set these up. This one came in 2 parts. The first map being named Hello, all caps. This place was a pure white void with a checkered floor and nothing but a lone door frame on the map. Trying to leave in any other direction simply has you fall off the platform and continually take damage until bleeding out. Going through the door frame, you're taken to the main location, a new map named Search. This was a massive doorway with a bunch of letters and symbols in front of it, surrounded by nothing but darkness. You can break the letters, which lists them out in the chat. It also says something in the console about breaking them to search for maps or something, but there's not enough letters to search for most normal TF2 maps. Once you break them, that letter is used up for good, and there's a character limit as well. Their map rotation page did have some odd ones, such as Hi, Dill, Die, 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 and a few others. I tried CP Foundry, since it has entirely unique letters, which didn't work. Even trying ones from their list, like hi, simply did nothing, from what I can tell. Trying to leave this area by walking away also just brings you back to the hello map, so there's no escape from this madness. I tried a good amount of text inputs on search, but not a single one resulted in the door opening. This is either an actual for real this time ARG, a weird test map that's unfinished, or an actual map search for TF2 maps that they just decided to make really ominous for no reason, which I was too stupid to figure out how to use. My money is on ARG. Always bet on ARG. I hate to say I came out empty-handed if this is an ARG, but I did. This is another one for the community to crack. I couldn't figure it out. We're gonna need some code breakers on this. The only thing I found that had any sort of effect was searching for help, which said that it was non-functional. No one is coming to help you. Like with BX70, I really do hope that this is something special and not just a weird test map, because it seems cool from what I've seen so far. Skyspace City. Now at first, I thought this was your average run-of-the-mill trade map where it's a small city with a couple Easter eggs or something. But this actually had a ton of secret areas, rooms, and puzzles. So many, in fact, that they felt the need to include a tracker on the map so you know how many are left to find. One of the first ones I found was some kind of, like, battlefield Easter egg, which I have no idea how I triggered, where fucking Godzilla popped up and started hopping around Skyspace City like a big playground. I looked around for a good while after that, and on top of the secrets, this map also just looks pretty good visually, at least in comparison to other trade maps. It also had a good amount of non-secret hangout spots where you can kick back and relax with some fellow trade server enthusiasts and do crazy things like trade. After finding a few other smaller Easter eggs, I kinda wanted to see everything this map had to offer, so I went into a private server to no-clip around. I'm just going to list out some of the interesting shit I came across because it would take way too long to summarize all of it. A strange trash room filled with cows, as well as an image of what I assume is the creator's dog. Secret sewers with a portal revealing the eldritch truth. Someone's OC. A secret Sans Undertale boss fight room where you must dodge bones to progress. A haunted manor with a hall of utterly terrifying jump scares. This also featured floating PNGs which killed you upon touching them. The Rick Ashley image even sends you to a Rickroll room. And finally, a developer thank you and credits room. That is just a handful of the areas and shit to see on this map. If you ever see it running in the server browser, give it a shot. According to the tracker, even with no clip, I found just over half of the Easter eggs. Now, if anyone manages to find all of them, I'll give you a secret gift. And trust me, you don't want to miss out on it. One game mode I got recommended a bunch was Parkour. I never actually played it, but I do remember it being pretty popular. Of course, it being popular back when I played meant that the only remaining Parkour server was running a Minecraft map. This also just isn't a very interesting mode, if I'm being honest. It was kind of like Death Run and B-Hop mixed together, but not much more to it than that. The genius map designer behind this one decided that an invisible maze was a good idea to include in their timed parkour map. Awesome. I couldn't find the exit and rage quit. Now I figured there was no way this is what people were talking about, since the parkour I remember was more akin to Mirror's Edge. I went looking, and what I actually remembered was Parkour Fortress, which was actually a cool custom mode. And yeah, it basically was just Mirror's Edge, but in TF2, which is a pretty sick combo. It's a little jank, but at the same time, the fact that this works even half as well as it does in TF2 is kinda nuts. There's really not much I can do to hype this one up anymore than just showing you some gameplay. Check it out. Oh! 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 Oh my goodness! Right down the pipe, into the big pipe. Oh! Oh, Nelly! The king of speed. The master of disaster. I would have kept parkouring it up, but I'm either a fool who couldn't figure out how to return to checkpoints, which is likely, or the checkpoints actually just don't work. Every time I failed, I got sent all the way back to the start, which got very annoying very quick. Still, this is a really cool mode, and it's pretty sad to see that it's got a solid 1 server remaining and a solid 0 people in it. Apparently, the original Parkour Fortress from way back when is basically lost, as the developer for it abandoned the project. What I was playing here was actually a fan remake of it. It's pretty cool that something as obscure as this has gotten preserved through fan efforts. Without them, I wouldn't have been able to play this at all. Shout out to the remake developers. If you were curious as to why the original dev left TF2 behind, they were actually busy making their own indie game. A small, niche underground project you probably haven't heard of called A Hat in Time. This one was a pretty rarely seen TF2 roleplay server. As it's a hotel map called Gmodtech Hotel V1, I can only assume the people would get together here and roleplay funny hotel shenanigans. The map even had lore, being an alternate reality Area 51, which had a nice big 5-star hotel built right on base. It was pretty detailed too, having everything you'd expect. A nice lobby with the Gmodtech logo up on display, a kitchen with a full walk-in freezer, a bunch of rooms including some nice big suites, and a ton of activities around the base. This could easily support 32 players role-playing on it at once, if not more. There was even a full nuclear bunker outside, on the off chance that someone enacts global thermonuclear war. It was fun to look around the place, but all I could think the whole time I was here was how cool it would be if this actually had people on it pretending to be like a bellhop as the heavy, or a scout chef serving gourmet meals to pyro guests. And instead of just thinking about that stuff, I got looking online. Some of these are on older versions of the map, and sure, they're pretty chaotic, but yeah, people did actually used to roleplay on this.
I'd like to reserve a room, please. For one.
One of these videos by Serious Martin even has over 200,000 views, just messing around and showing funny moments in here like a decade ago. Looks like it was a fun time. There was also a video by the creator of the map going over the secrets and Easter eggs, and holy shit, there are a lot. It took them almost 20 minutes to cover them all. Unfortunately, the other thing I found regarding this map is that the group behind it, Gmodtech, shut down in 2018 after being active since 2008. I think the server here was simply running the map. It wasn't a revival of the group or anything. They went over the finer details in their video called The End of Gmodtech. It looks like the server possibly had one final send-off with its remaining players, where they gathered on the hotel's rooftop and watched as a nuke was launched over the horizon. The final message in the video being, "We had fun, we hope you did too." The server I found running the map does seem to run it 24/7, so if you want to check in and stay for a while, you totally can. With that said, I would do it sooner rather than later, as there's no guarantee this one won't meet a similar fate. Alright, another Pokemon server. Who's here? What the fuck?
Yo, a little help here? Who wants to throw?
Alright.
Hey, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Oh, crap.
I have to leave now. We're going to be doing a brand new segment with this one called the 2 AM Empty 18 Plus Furry Server Power Hour. I say segment, but this will be 2 maps. The first one was called Trade What, which I think is fairly popular and not attached to this server in any way. The second that I joined into it, someone else also just arrived, and they did nothing but stalk me around the map as a strange, wolf-like engineer. They didn't say a single thing, not a peep, a howl, or even a bark. The map here was a pretty standard crack map, with this one being very China and Russia themed. And not your typical band kid humor like USSR type shit. I'm pretty sure like actual Russian memes in a few spots. I'm gonna be honest, I was only half paying attention to the map here, as I was mainly focusing on trying to get away from my in-game stalker. After simply running away didn't work, I had to resort to my final option. Man, this is like spending the weekend at Don Cheadle's house. Yep. A new challenger joined into the fun around this point, sprayed some naughty furry art on the wall, and left pretty much immediately after. I departed for a bit, and when I came back, the place was empty, and on a new map.
WD War V2, brother. Hell yeah.
I'm pretty certain that this map was actually made for this server, so it's pretty unique in that sense. It's another entry in the genre of big map filled with a bunch of memes, art, and screenshots of shit the creator likes. This one had Stalker, Far Cry, Yakuza, a bunch of furry stuff, and a fair amount of shit I just don't get. Someone else joined in, and I flipped the script as this time I was the stalker. I followed them around the map, and they just didn't seem to care, really. I tried sparking a deep conversation here, to which they replied with the cheers voice command and kept moving. I don't really have much else to say about this one. Again, it's sort of Mario Kart or Ethosaur styled, where it's just a bunch of references and small side areas. This one did have a secret room like 100 meters below ground, which was textured top to bottom with furry feet art. Pause. I don't know. You'll have to judge for yourself, as I'm not going to show it here. My overall takeaway from this brand new segment is that furry servers have some pretty wacky maps and seem like they're probably a fun time when there's actually people on. I don't think this one is actually dead, as I saw it with some decent player counts at other points, but it's fairly empty late at night. This new segment has now concluded, and we won't be doing it ever again. For this one, we're going to delve into the awful, totally screwed up, nasty, devious, mischievous world of servers with anti-cheat disabled. We're going to see some fucked up, rotten shit. You have been warned. This server was called 24/7 Harble Hotel and was running a map called Harble Hotel. I got into this one solo, and within under a minute, another guy joined in. As this was a server with no anti-cheat, I was a little worried that my entire cyber network was about to get breached at any second. Thankfully, such a thing didn't happen, and I was able to explore to my heart's content. It was a Habbo Hotel themed map, but was also very mid to late 2000s internet with a major 4chan focus. Just a ton of old ass memes in here, too many to count. It wasn't really set up like a hotel, but was just a big tower with unique shit on every floor. After a while, a different guy joined in and was a lot less freaky, saying that they loved the map and how it looked. It had a bunch of elements which were super reminiscent of classic Mario Kart maps, such as the 4chan party van, and after doing some research, this was actually made by the same guy back in 2007. It was originally a Counter-Strike source map before being ported to TF2. Now this might be a well-known thing, but I guess 4chan Party Van was actually an old group, or clan or something, which had some servers. I think they might even still be around, but I don't know. I found a video from 2010 where a guy gave a tour of the hotel to a few people, and they all had to collectively ignore and aim their cameras away from a few select naughty images the whole time. So just quick editing note here, because I'm an idiot, because I'm a fool. This video is actually by the creator of the map, Xenon. I don't know how I missed that. It's in the first 5 seconds of the video. Just thought it's worth mentioning. There's not much more to say about this one though. It's basically a precursor to Mario Kart maps, and it functions as a time capsule of 2000s 4chan type humor. It's neat to look through, but I can see why I've never heard of it before.
The Manor of Mischief. Very famous level.
I actually had no clue what this was, but it had a funny sounding name, so I joined it. Someone else was already in here, and they greeted me upon arrival and asked if we'd met before. I had no idea who this was, and said no. They then replied that it was their first time seeing the map running on the server, and that there were sexy slime girls everywhere. I then instantly knew who this map was by and what it was going to be. We've got another Ethosaur map. It's very similar to their other maps, having framed memes, references, and slime girls all around the map. But this one was in a big spooky haunted house, which had some pretty cool non-joke designs inside. It got pretty creative. Trippy, twisting hallways, illogical architecture, upside-down rooms, and a ridiculously long SCP-087-like scary staircase, which, if you couldn't guess, had an evil and fucked up slime girl at the bottom of it. This one had an even bigger emphasis on the slime girls, with these ones having dialogue when you walk up to them. The best one had to be the slime girl, with toxic sludge all around her, telling you to come towards her, and that nothing bad will happen. And then of course, you walk towards her, and you instantly get irradiated and start dying. And the health pack next to her is an epic troll. Me and the other guy in here were doing a tag team dynamic duo sweep of the entire map to find secrets and Easter eggs. But after like 20 minutes of not finding much, I had had enough. If you want to see everything that the Manor of Mischief has to offer, you're gonna have to creep through it yourself. We're going international with this one, looking at a Hong Kong server. That fact has essentially zero impact on anything. Let's check it out. Two fellas were in here when I joined in, who had been duking it out for who knows how long. And they never stopped. It didn't matter where I was or what I was doing. Anytime I looked over at them, they were fighting. A never-ending battle between snipers. The map here is a decently old one, being from 2014, and a pretty cool one, especially for an achievement idol map. It had a working tram, elevators, a cool cityscape skybox, and overall, looked pretty nice. The main building in the middle of the city was the real highlight. You can take the elevator up to the penthouse, and it was filled with a bunch of shit. It's mostly references to things the various creators liked, as well as some general memes from the era, both TF2 related and not. The next floor was a few personalized rooms, each made for a different person behind the map. There was a few references in here to things that literally only they would understand, but mostly just stuff like posters for things they were interested in, mainly bands and musicians. It was pretty cool. I kind of wish there was more, but that was really it for this kind of stuff. Right as I was finishing up my exploration of the building, one of the two duelists left. For some reason though, the other guy didn't actually leave or fight me or anything, instead just kind of walking around aimlessly. There were no more battles to be fought. What now was his purpose in life? I guess he stayed to do some soul searching. I hit up the nightclub, danced for a bit to some Alice DJ, and then yunted on down into the sewers, where a Man vs. Machine upgrade station was waiting. What the fuck? This guy just scared the shit out of me. One absolutely massive mode that I missed out on covering last time. Like, actually, how did I forget about this? It's incredibly famous. Of course, I'm talking about Cuck Chair Ball Remastered. And just as a note, if you play this, be absolutely sure that you're using the remastered version. We don't talk about what happened to the original back in 22. Being one of the iconic modes of TF2, I shouldn't have to explain this one, but I will, since I'm such a cool guy. This mode has two teams going head-to-head, blasting around a physics prop steel chair, trying desperately to dunk it into the opposing team's bottomless pit. I'm actually kind of devastated that no one was in it. I remember back in the day, there used to be at least like 10 to 20 servers running this, all of which were filled up at like all times. You actually used to have to get into a queue for at least, I want to say like 20 to 30 minutes before joining this. Yeah, it'd be funny if any of that was real. We've got a My Little Pony dance club map. Like the MLP one from last time, this is a remnant of a bygone era in TF2, where pony stuff was pretty huge. I wasn't a part of this community at all, but it's still sad seeing that stuff like this has basically faded away entirely. At one point, these were staples of TF2 custom servers. There's even some videos online of this map being completely filled up back in 2012. This version of the map was apparently Safe V2. I can only imagine what the unsafe version was like. Unfortunately, there's not much to actually say about the map. It was pretty much just a dance club, which was filled to the brim with various pony PNGs. It also had like 20 different pony-themed songs you could select, different lighting effects, a bar, and not a ton more. It did have an outside area, but that had even less to talk about. That's Leaf. That's Snowflake. Apple. Male. Dog. The back rooms. I found another video of it, this one from 2011, which was a sort of cinematic look, or like a trailer of the map by a few people, one of which had this incredibly eerie and disturbing engineer skin on. Absolutely terrifying. This video came out before stuff like the conga was released, so for dancing, they just kind of stand on the dance floor and do basic taunts. It is incredibly awkward. I'm sure this map hosted many nights of extravagant parties and social hangouts, which will never, ever happen again. You would be lucky to even find a server running this map. This one was just called Heavy Warehouse, and loading into it, it just looked to be a warehouse-themed deathmatch map. I was going to instantly leave this one, but I decided to at least give it a brief look to see if I was missing anything. What I found was a very dark and mysterious town outside of the warehouse. It had cars zipping by every minute or two, and a handful of completely empty buildings. Aside from animationless, blank-eyed TF2 mercs working as cashiers. Very weird. I was in a Team Fortress 2 ghost town, with the echoes of my footsteps being my only company. This place is hiding a deeper secret. I can feel it in my bones. There are a strange amount of stupidly elaborate achievement idle servers. The sole purpose of these is to leave TF2 running in the background while you collect item drops. I don't get it. This one here was a Helms Deep themed idle map, being pretty much a one-to-one recreation with some TF2 theming. A free-to-play engineer was in here when I joined, who I think literally just installed the game. So this was probably one of their first experiences with TF2. What an introduction. He took about 2 minutes to figure out how to place a sentry on the ground, and for the entire time I was here, he was just constantly shooting the idle bots. As mentioned earlier though, this shit was ridiculously detailed for an idle map. It almost makes me think that this was like possibly a real map which was repurposed into an idle map. It's that good. There was a dragon flying around, a working catapult which you could aim and fire, and a whole entire evil scary skeleton forest outside of it as well. Not to mention Helms Deep itself. None of this had to be here, but it's cool that it is. They even reskinned the payload cart to be a funny horse, so I took it for a ride around the map. I didn't spend a shitload of time here, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's even more to it than what I managed to find during my stay. Legend has it that the free-to-play engineer is still on it to this very day. We've got a Korean server. The map here wasn't a server original, but it was translated to Korean. While this was listed as a trade map, it honestly felt more like a social hangout or even a roleplay map. Well, aside from the full port of CP Orange as just a cute little extra thing. This has stores, apartments, a working shooting range, the world-famous club dance, and a few other random-ass additions like functioning boats and even a fucking helicopter you could fly.
Yeah!
This isn't a super remarkable map, but I did like how it kept in line with TF2's general art style. This didn't just feel like some Gmod Dark RP port. They didn't have to do that. Not many weird community maps do, but they did. A for effort. One thing that's not exactly in line with TF2 was this strange anime, fully modeled character, which I'm going to have to blur pretty extensively. I don't know why this was here. We're now doing our required by law, obligatory Team Fortress Classic server. This one was called Feckin Mad and was running a map vote. Apparently this server and group have been around since 2004, so we've got a true classic on our hands. I was just going to vote for a silly map, like mini golf or something, but I saw one which caught my eye called Feckin Xmas 2014B. Seeing as it has the server's name in the title, it was likely a map specifically made for them. We also officially have Christmas representation in this December video. This one starts off with an omega snowstorm. I thought there was so much that my game was lagging, but it turned out that this was actually just a 5 FPS GIF of snowfall pasted about 300 times. You make your way through the blizzard into the Feckin bunker, where some Christmas tunes start playing, and they invite all Feckin Mad members inside for a warm meal and champagne. The main door is malfunctioning though, so I had to find another way in. Luckily, there was a conveniently placed air vent right above the stairs. I smashed it open and went to hop inside. The problem here, the slight issue, was that getting into this goddamn vent was an impossible task as a solo player. I tried strafe jumping, I tried different staircase heights, I tried everything I could think of for like 10 minutes and could not get into it. I tried my absolute hardest. I wasn't gonna let Christmas get ruined this easily. With the music having long since stopped and at my wit's end, I was just gonna call it here and say that Christmas is cancelled until I heard a doorbell ring. Oh my god, somebody joined. They were dressed up as a greasy, nasty-looking Santa, and I said I'd give them a boost up into the vent. When they went AFK, I was actually gonna rip my fucking hair out. Thankfully, they quickly came back and said they were just figuring out how to use the text chat, and we proceeded to boost into the vent. We were golden. Christmas is saved. Now inside the vent, they asked me what to do next. I told them that I had absolutely no idea, and then left the bunker for a bit. I returned a few minutes later and found them still there, exactly where they were, having made no progress. I gave up at this point, told them that Christmas was ruined and it's all their fault, and I left. I launched the map on a private server, so I could just no-clip through it. And yeah, it did seem to be a map made specifically for this server's users. There were in-jokes, references to stuff like their forums, and it had a bunch of different puzzles to solve. It splits off into a few sub-areas, and when you complete all 4 of them, there's no big climactic boss battle or explosive finale. Just a room with a Christmas tree, tunes, and tables set up for people to sit at. I can only assume that back in 2014 when this launched, all the regulars hopped on, completed these puzzles, and then just kind of relaxed and talked in this finale room before going on a holiday break. While I didn't find anything online about this map, I did find a handful of videos from their 2013 Christmas party. This one just seemed to be one long dance-off, not a massive puzzle map or anything. It's pretty awesome that TFC servers like this still exist at all. I can't imagine they are anything more than a money sink at this point. I loaded into this one and instantly clocked it as another Ethosaur creation, the king of crack maps. Incredible stuff. This one was a lot like Lethargy Pools, which we looked at last time, but even bigger. I got lost on about 37 separate occasions. Just endless hallways of memes, references, and slime girls. Guys, actually this map has some deeper themes. You're actually, if you look closely, the ball pit, what seems to be just a basic childlike play area, is actually being watched 24/7 by a mysterious individual. We never actually see who's behind the cameras. But guys, it could be anybody. It could be anybody at all. Some kind of freak, perhaps? A sicko? Or maybe it's us the whole time. I was sick of hunting down the green slime head crabs and just no-clipped into the dev room of this one, which had a bunch of development screenshots, a few pieces of artwork, and a message from Ethosaur. This was a big thank you to the community and anyone playing the map, and says that they hope people continue to enjoy their works into the far future, beyond TF2's lifespan, and more. Seeing as there are things like 24/7 Harble Hotel servers running, I don't doubt that we'll see ports of Ethosaur's maps 15 years down the line when Team Fortress 3 comes out. Cool map. Uh-oh. That's not good. That's not good.
Eat my dust!
I seriously don't know how I keep finding these weird ARG servers. This one feels like someone's nightmare recreated in a TF2 map. The mercenaries silently laugh at this Half-Life 2 citizen who cowers in fear. I saw that the server had a command listed where you have to type, "I want to go back," which takes you to a selection of different worlds. It was after seeing this that I can pretty confidently say that this one was actually just a series of test maps that they decided to make creepy for no reason. The first one up after the Laughing Bastards was one called G-Box, which was a black void with a very heavy, textureless cube inside. That's it. The others were just basic CTF and control point tests with pretty much nothing in them. Who knows? Maybe it is an ARG, which has been cleverly disguised as a series of test maps. I gotta say, it is very fun accusing every slightly off and weird map as being an ARG. We've got us an actual, unironic, full-on Christian TF2 server. G-rated language rules and everything. It is completely legit, and the gaming group behind it was founded in 1999. Looking into them, unfortunately, they did have to shut down their Christian Minecraft server back in 2022. Tragic. When I got in, it was a completely empty, stock harvest map. So, really not much to discuss. They didn't even have chat filters on or anything, so I could say whatever I wanted. I did see, in their message of the day, that they get together for weekly game nights. I figured I might as well come back during one of these to see if they're still going. For the first 15 minutes or so, it was just me and a couple other people here doing 1v1s for a bit. Me and this pyro were playing flare gun tennis, which we were not good at. Fast forward another 20 minutes, and the server had some decent numbers. And pretty much as soon as people started coming in, this became a heated debate on US politics, and not just contemporary ones. These guys started arguing about shit like Andrew Jackson and Woodrow Wilson. And all of this lasted for 40 minutes straight. I just sat in silence, listening to it all unfold.
Fucking so much.
Oh, language.
Oh, my bad.
I say it was heated, but really, that was just in terms of how passionate they were. They weren't throwing insults or screaming or anything. I felt like I was listening into a presidential debate, but I was in a fucking TF2 lobby. And once they wrapped up, they just went right back to talking about funny YouTube videos, like it was nothing. It was one of the strangest experiences I've ever had on a TF2 server. Really, this is just here to serve as an example of the famous TF2 hosts the most diverse group of gamers in almost any game discussion. Christian servers hosting heated but fair political debates. Pony dance club servers. High-tier trade servers with Wall Street big shots putting down thousands of dollars for dumbass hats. Adults-only furry servers. Minecraft baby servers with screaming children. Stanford prison experiment servers. And everything in between. There's not many games like this. It is very unique, and it's one of the main reasons I love it so much. Never change, TF2. And that's going to be it for this one. Again, that was another fun session.